Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Last week we had the basics of Money Mantra for busy surgeons, where we touched upon the basics of financial knowledge any busy surgeon needs to have. And on popular demand, we thought we'll have an in-depth, reasonably in-depth study on those issues which we need to know. And also perhaps we touch upon estate planning. Uh, to have the discussion with us, we have the same panelist on popular demand. I welcome Dr. Kumaresh, who is a consultant anesthesiologist for the renal transplant teams in Madurai, where he was trained in the UK for renal transplant anesthesiology. He is passionate about financial planning, that he is pursuing a certified financial planning course. He is a qualified financial advisor and he is advising more than 200 plus doctors. He can be contacted at the mobile number which I had given in case somebody wants to contact him. Welcome, Dr. Kumaresh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
We have pleasure in inviting Colonel Dr. Rajesh Khanna, who is currently Professor of Urology at University, Mulana in Haryana. Formerly, he was a senior consultant in HOD Urology in Sitaram Bhartia. Prior to that, he served in the Army Medical Corps. He has 17 publications. He has lots of passions: the cosmos, reading, finance, painting, financial aspects, and traveling, and also cooking. According to him, he has made every possible mistake in investing and acquired knowledge over the last 25 years. Welcome, Rajesh. Let me just adjust this view. Dr. S.M. Shivaraj is a senior consultant, surgical gastroenterologist, and HBB surgeon in Bilrath Hospitals, Chennai. He has interest in financial matters for the last 15 years and helps friends. I welcome Dr. Shivaraj. Is Dr. Varun around? Yeah, I can see Varun. Varun, good evening. Welcome. Varun is HOD Department of Critical Care, Vallam Mall Medical College, Madurai, and I presume he is very busy with all the cases which are pouring in Madurai now. He, by training, is an anesthesiologist. He has had a European diploma in intensive care. He has been a financial planner for the last 8 years and a certified financial consultant for 4 years. He is one of those people who have a membership of the Hat-Trick Million Round Table and is in the top 5 MDRT recipients in India. Varun can be contacted on the mobile number which is given and also at the email in case anybody wants to seek his advice. My colleague Dr. Vimalraj Velayadam is an HBB and liver transplant surgeon in Mia Hospitals. He is a surgical gastroenterologist by training and he has moved into HBB and liver transplant surgery by training at Seoul and in Medanta. He also has had a laparoscopic HBB fellowship training in Paris. Interestingly, he is also a marathon runner and he has self-acquired knowledge in financial matters. And according to me, it is by hits and misses in investing. Welcome, Vimal. Before we move on to the depths, we'll just recap for those people who were not able to be present for the last one. So the lessons we learned last time was that insurance to cater for various uncertainties is a must. And you need to save or invest some money to beat the inflation. Otherwise, it's meaningless. You might as well keep it in a box in your house. And loans, if required, are to be taken after due diligence. I remember Dr. Rajesh saying there are certain loans which are good and some are not very good. So, take loans like those which are required for housing. We discussed that insurance to cater for uncertainties would include life insurance, health insurance, and professional indemnity. What is important is that anyone who has a responsibility should have a life insurance so that in case anything happens to him, those people who are dependent on him are not left high and dry. And it is understandably meaningless to have insurance, life insurance for small kids. I mean, I've seen some people who have insurance for husband, wife, and school-going children. And the very old people probably would have finished off all the responsibility, so they may not have to pay a premium to maintain a life insurance. We saw in the last meet there are different kinds of insurance policies available in the market: endowment policy, money back policy, ULIP, and term policy. I may now request our panelist to briefly mention what are the useful things about the insurance about between these. I may ask Varun, can you briefly say what
Yes,
would
sir.
be the kind of thing you would recommend to people?
As you already recapped, sir, we should start early because all the term insurance they increase with increasing your age because you are liable to get more and more illnesses with your age. So your term cover, what you give for two crores at the age of 28, it is completely different from what you give at 48. So you have to start early. And as mentioned in the last topic, we should go for a plain term cover. Just buying an endowment policy saying that it has 10 lakhs cover or 1 crore cover, it doesn't work that way. So you need to go for a term insurance as a separate entity instead of going for some investment along with the other ULIPs can be considered for an investment, not for a not as a term insurance. So term insurance as a separate product is a must. But the problem with all our doctors is that we don't understand that, like health insurance, your term insurance has to be paid at the correct time. So we people will be getting a lot of phone calls for reminders, lot of messages. We don't usually go through it. So what I would suggest to is you can connect it through an ECS system, and there are many plans available right now. For example, Tata AG, Reliance, and those people give some money back policies. So like car insurance, if you pay for your insurance and if you don't go for a garage, thank God, then you don't have any use for the money you have paid as term insurance. Similarly, for our term insurance, if you are healthy till 85, you're not going to, the family is not going to get the benefit of a term insurance. So better go for a policy where you get back the money that you have invested in term. So there are policies available, or I can offer you, like HDFC has very good plans, like they give a combo. For example, if your premium for term insurance is around 40K, you go for a policy of 60K together with it. So you pay only for 8 years and you will get back the money after 8 years. That is after 16th year of starting a policy, but you will be covered for the next 40 years. So instead of going 40,000 per year for 40 years, it will amount to almost, if I am correct, it is 24 lakhs without any return. You can go just for 8 years with 8 lakhs and get back the money. So you should. There are a lot of products available. So I think that is where we should go for, sir.
Thank you. So basically, you are saying what is generally referred to as the plain money line
Yes, sir.
insurance.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Term insurance.
So,
Yes.
yeah, Kumresh, can you come on and say? So this is comparative return. It says a term insurance probably is better. He mentioned it last time also, so probably we'll take it easy. See, what it means is, if somebody is willing to pay a premium of 50,000 per annum, with endowment, he will get a insurance of 4 lakhs. Whereas with the same amount with ULIP, he will get about 5 lakhs. But instead, if he splits it into a term insurance and put the rest into another investment strategy, he will probably get as much as 50 lakhs. And I remember Kumresh mentioned last time, the CAGR, that is a annual rate of interest which you get on your investment is much higher. Is this correct? Kumresh, you have anything else to add?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Instead of going for a combo again, what I suggest is plain term insurance plus PPF instead of endowment policy, and plain term insurance plus ELSS, equity linked savings scheme. That will give better benefit. We should
Okay.
not take these combo policies because 8 lakhs into 8 years is 64 lakhs rupees. What I suggest is instead deposit 30 lakhs in fixed deposits. We get a interest. Suppose 1 lakh 8,000 means we will get for 30 lakhs huge amount. We can pay interest as term premium. We will have this in our hand instead of going for combo policies.
Okay, like Varun mentioned, if you anticipate a dip in your earnings, perhaps you can consider having something which is for an abbreviated period and then have an extended cover for a longer time. Is it what you are saying, Varun?
Yes, I think that's correct in that.
Okay, fine. So what we need to tell everybody is that insurance is an expense like a motor car insurance. You need to spend money on it. It cannot be taken as an investment, and ideally it should not be clubbed with something else as an investment, because then you get something like inadequate or suboptimal return on both sides. And whenever, for the knowledge of beginners, whenever you book a life insurance, you get a free look period of 15 days. And within that 15 days, correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't like it, you can return it. And they will subtract some administrative charges and give it to you. Now, the issue is, suddenly after some time, after 1 year, you realize the policy you've taken is not really very good. So what should you do? You return the policy and accept the loss? Okay, I'll give you this question. There is a colleague of mine who has a ULIP, and the ULIP is from 30th November 2017. He has a life cover of 60 lakhs, and he pays a premium of 6 lakhs for 5 years. Policy period is supposed to be for 15 years. So he has paid 3 installments of 6 lakhs, that is 18 lakhs he is paid. And the fund is invested in equity, what is called a maximizer in ICICI, I believe, which I presume is a very aggressive way of investing. And the current value, according to him, is only 16 lakhs something. He feels he's a little unhappy about this. So he wants to know whether he can stop paying this, and whether he can take the balance and accept some loss and put it into term insurance and investment separately. May I ask both of you? Okay, before you come, Rajesh, what would you do if you are in this?
Actually,
I would say
the lock-in period, sir. Yes, and sir.
So the lock-in period is 5 years, so you can't touch that. But I presume you can accept a loss and wind it up, so you will lose some money. I don't know how much you will lose. You will lose a cover, everything. Does it make financial sense to continue, or does it make financial sense to discontinue?
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah. Rajesh,
the answer is the same, sir. This is insurance combined with investment. For a 6 lakh premium that he's paying per year, he can get a fantastic amount of insurance if he wants. But his insurance cover is just 60 lakhs for a premium of 6 lakhs a year. And his returns are, he's losing money presently. So he should, my suggestion to him would be immediately terminate this policy, go for a term insurance of 2 crores, which will cost him probably less than about 1 lakh a year. And he can invest the rest of the money in equity oblique mutual funds.
Thank you. Varun, what would you say?
So the problem with all the ULIPs is you have a lock-in period of 5 years. So it's actually very tough to get back that money if you have committed for minimum 5 years. The payment term will be, policy period is 15 years, right? Payment period.
Yeah. No, payment period is 5 years.
Payment period is 5 years. So if you have already done for 3 years, the idea will be like if he has some other better plan where it is going to give him better returns, because the 60 lakh cover is not important. It is not the cover that is the point here. It's about whether his money is giving him the proper return, proper CAGR. So if he has some other policy like where he will get better returns, he can invest there. But at the end of, to close this policy, he has to pay the entire amount, what he has promised, to get back what he has invested. So he can invest in some other place, get a good return, and he has to give a return of, he has to pay almost 12 lakhs remaining to get back the money that he has invested. That's the commitment we are given to ULIP. So with the ULIP, if you have started a policy, it is better to continue. You have to finish it anyway, because if you want to go and finish it, you have to go pay the entire amount that is remaining and get back whatever returns available. Your returns will be less because your ULIP will be frozen because you are not paid for.
Okay, it could also be possible because of the dip in the market. The value is low.
Yes, sir. You need to, as I told you, any investment you make, you need to switch your funds from opportunity to depth depending upon the market ratio. So we cannot do that. So we need to have a proper financial people to tell us. They will do it if you give the OTP and stuff. And ULIP has an advantage of no charges for switching, and but your mutual funds have each time you switch a fund, they take some charges.
Thank you. Dr. Kubrich, you have any other view on this?
Uh, Close the policy or don't pay, because when you don't pay for this policy for next 2 years, it will go to the SB account like status. It will give 3.5% interest and get out of the policy, because when if you pay more and more loss will be there.
Okay.
So that's my suggestion, because anyway we have done something wrong, accept the mistake, come out.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The next is, lots of people ask how to buy life insurance. It is very easy. You ask Varun, you ask anybody, everything can be purchased online. My view is that probably that you need to have a medical examination if you are above, say, 45 years.
35.
If you opt for a policy where medical examination waived off, that means you are going to pay more premium. So if you have a problem, then you accept it. If you don't have a problem, if you are healthy and fit, better to go for a medical examination and accept a policy where the premium will be lower. Is it right?
It's a very good point you have made, sir. Better go for a medical examination, because they should not have any clause to reject your claim in any of the upcoming years. They say that, sir, you have not done a medical exam, so we don't know what your original health was. If you get sick within 60 days of your policy, they have every chance to reject it. So it will be better if we go for a medical examination and do the thing. That's one thing. And second thing, more than 35 years, it is best. And third thing will be buying online for a term insurance. Pick to product is very good. But still, if we go through some financial consultant, because if there are any queries from that, it is very tough to deal with all those things. And for experienced persons like us, we can write down. We are the underwriters. We'll talk with the underwriters, and up to 5 crores, we can waive off any other queries that are coming through. So it will be helpful if you go through some financial consultant, because term insurance, it's not like an investment. It's like a very close to the family. You're doing something for the family, so we should make it fault free. That's just my idea.
Yeah, I think that you have a point, because they should reject it on some flimsy ground, or they say this is not covered, etc. Okay. I would like to draw your attention to some of these issues where there is a built-in life insurance. For example, you have a credit card, debit card, there is amount of insurance depending upon the card. If you buy a motor vehicle insurance, there is a accident death class with coverage, which may be a small 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. If you are a member of certain clubs, including professional bodies like IMA, there is amount of life insurance. Even you buy a flight ticket, railway ticket, etc. So this is for people in case something happens. These are all the issues on which the family should claim money, even in government service. Is this correct? Or is there anything else that needs to be done?
Sir, even if your gas blows up, you buy gas, even if it blows up, you are entitled for a 50 lakh insurance. That actually you have paid for an insurance before you buy a cylinder gas. That doesn't mean that our family can depend on that. Because as a professional, our productivity is per year income into 10 years. So it will be minimum. We are talking about not less than 2 crores for any profession. So none of the credit card and all these insurance never give up to 2 crores. They give probably up to 50 lakhs or something. LICs, all the policies we take during our college time is for 50 lakhs or something. I think we should go for 2 crores. For that, we should go for a separate term insurance plan rather than attached insurance, like as you have mentioned.
No, I agree with you. I'm just trying to remind people that these are also insurances which are given to you.
Yes, but one more thing is that, sir, everything is being monitored by your PAN account. You will not get 2 crores from your credit card. You will not get 2 crores from your one insurance. You get 5 crores from your insurance. If your productivity is less, based upon your IT returns, they will give they can give maximum of up to 20 times your IT returns, not above that. So even if you have taken for 10 crores, don't think that you will be entitled. So we need to have a proper IT record to say that I am such and such person, my income is such and such, so my family is entitled such and such. So our IT returns also plays an important role in how much you are going to get from all sources, as you mentioned.
So you can't have an inflated insurance figure.
No, that's a scam.
Oh, scam. So you will just keep paying money, but nothing will come.
You can, there's no point. You will not opt for 5 crores from SBI, 5 crores from ICICI, 5 crores. We are not going to do that because everything is being monitored by a single agency.
Okay.
So IRDA monitors everything. So they will have grounds to reject it, and you will get only the required amount.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we move on to the health insurance, and may now ask the panelists to slightly give some idea as to what kind of plan somebody say. Let's say he is in his late 30s, as a wife and a mother to support. What kind of policy a person should take? Vimal, will you address this issue? We can't hear you, Vimal. We can't hear you. Hello.
Hello, sir. It's okay.
Yeah, now it's okay. Yeah.
So one thing is everybody should have a health insurance. There is no doubt in that. So and we'll have to think about there are two. As I think Varun and Varun would agree. Like if you have a individual insurance, that's like for example, if the health coverage for an individual, and you should always make sure that at least the whole family gets that amount of help. For example, if you insure for 5 lakhs. Sometimes you get carried away. You think like for all family members, it's each of them would get 5 lakhs. When you take a family floater, the whole family is covered only for 5 lakhs. So you should make sure that when you take in health insurance, you should each individual should have it. Like last time, I think um, uh, doctor told us that each member should have at least 5. Like he said, 20 lakhs. So you should make sure that it is there in the policy. We forget. We assume that it's the whole family is taken care. For example, they're insured for 80 whole lakhs. Like it's not like that. So and another thing is like if you have a senior member in your family who is less than 60 years, like it's easy to get a policy. If it's more than 60 years, then it becomes difficult because insurance companies demand more premium, and and I think they know better. You have and also sometimes if it's more than 60 years, if you incur some expense because of their health ailments, you can use that as you can show it as an expense, especially when you are incurring it. So these are the things you should understand, especially when you take in general when you take insurance, health insurance for an individual, and especially when you have a senior member, you should not try and include in your own policy. You should take a separate policy. It is better. There is a separate exemption on the tax for that. So it's always better to take it separately.
Okay, thank you. So, Varun, I'll ask you a question. So, according to Vimal, I had taken a policy. Say, let's say it is for 8 lakhs for a family 3. Now that I am being told, why don't you have a top-up health insurance for some illness like cancer? And I'm also told, why don't you have this deductible business? Your premium will come down. Can you throw some light on these two issues?
Sir, 8 lakhs for a family member for normal IP admission, it's okay, sir. But we never know. We need to insure ourselves for the worst case scenarios. So right now we know how much cost is going to cost for COVID and everything. So any critical care admissions, it's going to get your insurance value. Somebody has asked in the chat also. Critical care cover at least of 25 to minimum 50 lakhs is required, because as doctors will not be taken to the smallest ICU in the city, will be taken to the costliest ICU in the city, and as doctors will be given the costliest medicine, and there will not be any, I think there will be low threshold to start on anything. So we should understand that we need to have a critical care cover that is 25 lakhs, and for a family floater, what I would recommend is minimum of 20 lakhs for a whole. And if you start it early, it's going to cost you very less. And as Sir has correctly mentioned, it comes under 80D. Whatever you pay for your health insurance can be separately taken off from, and it has income benefits too. So instead of paying the 15,000 for whatever be the 50,000 that you can claim, you will have to pay 15,000 for the government if you are not utilizing it. So add on another 10,000 for 25,000 if you are getting a good family floater. I think we should go for it. And cancer care, yes, term insurance right now gives cancer care. The problem with cancer is even from the investigation, from starting of the investigation to the treatment options, it's going to be very costly. And for all women, I think they should add on to it when they are in the age of 35. And at that time, the cancer care premiums will be less. But once you take it for more than 45 or 50, the premiums are going to be very high.
Thank you. What about deductible?
It's an 80D. Health insurance comes under 80D, sir. So you can actually.
No, not tax deduction.
Yes,
they
sir.
said, no, if you have 1.5 as deductible amount, which means you will pay from your pocket, your premium will fall significantly.
Sorry, I don't get this deductible ideas. I think Vimal sir can enlighten us.
See, supposing I have a 5 lakh policy I want to take, and the company tells me you have a deductible for 2 lakhs. That means up to 2 lakhs expense I will pay. Anything more than 2 lakhs, the insurance will pay. He says if you take it, then your premium will come to less than 50%. The rationale is income expense is going to be less than 2 lakhs, which you will pay from your pocket.
Okay. The Vimal sir has something to share on this.
Yeah.
No, it's like if it's less, if the expense is less, then we can contribute to it as a whole, and if it's more, then and the premium is
all right.
It's less.
So the panelists have said you should start early. You should study your requirements, identify the illness, and cover accordingly. And obviously, as they've mentioned, it is expensive for senior citizens. And you need to work out combinations, find out whichever is the least expensive. And whenever there is a pre-policy medical checkup needed, you should go through that. And avoid those where it is dispensed. That means you will be paying more. And higher deductible will lower premium, which I mentioned earlier. Now we move on to the next one. Indemnity insurance. Last time some people asked us indemnity insurance, and Dr. Kumaresh said he has an indemnity insurance for very high level because you never know what the society is going to do to the doctors. And Dr. Sivaraj, what is your opinion? How do you go about with this indemnity insurance?
Yeah. Shall I start the slide, sir?
Okay. One second. I'll have to stop this. Okay. Yeah.
Is the slide visible?
Yes.
Yeah. When you come for indemnity insurance, actually, nowadays all of us know that the
full screen yet.
Yeah, there is a lot of legal this one in our profession. So it is better to have a highest indemnity, and you should select depending upon your requirement. See, if you are a surgeon, then you should have the idea of how much will your maximum charges will be incurring on your patient. So, and then calculate the indemnity. Now the companies are coming with high indemnity insurance coverage with a lower premium actually. So first thing is better to have association, our Indian Medical Association or other association, our professional bodies, they are also giving indemnity insurances. One advantage of these indemnity insurance is, here in a case of an insurance company, actually only the fine that will be imposed on us, that will be only paid by the company. Whereas we have another set of money loss where we will be paying to the lawyers and other things. And in case of this professional body, whereas the Indian Medical Association like that, actually the thing is they have their own lawyers, their own professional lawyers who are just dealing with this indemnity insurance. And actually, if you can give all the details of the particular case and other things, they will be giving you a good guidance also. So it is always better you always have this as a must. In addition to that, because the amount covered by our medical association insurance is much less, so you can, in addition to this, you can have other indemnity insurances from the insurance companies. So this is one example. Actually, I have taken an indemnity insurance of around 5 lakhs with our IMA, and actually the premium came to 9,000 rupees for 5 years. So it comes less than 2,000 rupees per year. And so as I have told, the advantage with this, you will get the professional advice during your your need actually. So this I will come later.
So we can see there's a professional indemnity thing.
Yeah, this is a professional indemnity insurance, and just a minute, sorry. Yeah. If you can. You can see the amount that's insured is 1 crore. So now the national insurances companies, they are coming with a premium of lesser premium and a higher cover. Only thing is, as Sar has mentioned already, there is a deductible in it. So the initial smaller part up to 2,50,000 is if any expenses less than 2,50,000 comes to you, then it is has to be you have to bear that expenses. If the expenses go beyond 2.5 lakhs up to 1 crore, they will cover. So this is one good policy that is there for the past 3-4 years, and it is good to have this policy, because once a patient goes to ICU and other things, we know how much expense it happens and how much burden is there on the patient's attenders and other things. So this will give a good coverage.
Thank you. Okay. Will you switch this off, please?
Yeah.
Sir, I would like to add one thing.
Yeah. Yes, Rajesh.
The policy that I was taking in Delhi, United India, I think was the company. They give a kind of rebate. They give a discounted rate during January to March. So if you take it till 31st March, you can get a 1 crore cover in less than 6,000 rupees.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the one I am showing actually.
See, now the premiums have come down and coverages has increased.
Yeah.
In addition to what Dr. Shivraj mentioned, there are certain agencies now which also give you legal advice. IMA does it to some extent. These people give it to, they have a pan-India presence. And initially there was only one company, Dockland. And when I was in Delhi and Bangalore, I had a membership. Their rates are much higher than the premium you pay, but they give you full legal coverage. They themselves have a panel of people. They go into the details and they help you throughout from day one. All you need to do is, there's a case, you call them up, then they will take over, they will advise you from day one, and it will be very useful. So this is what I had till I came to Chennai, because Chennai, they don't have an office. So now I find there are a whole lot of people. All you need to do is just Google, and you see a lot of these agencies which are run by a combination of lawyers and others. So what is very important is everybody should have this, and the money that is spent on this premium is adjustable against your professional income. So all people who are independent consultants, if they are paying even 50,000, they can show it against income required to run their practice. So this is that way beneficial. The money that you spend on this is worth it, and it also gives you some tax benefit. So if you pay up 30%, that means if you are paying 60,000 rupees, actually you are giving only 40,000 for your entire coverage. So, and I think it will take away your tension. Now we move on to the savings and investment. And Dr. Kumaresh last time said there are multiple options available, and you should choose one where your interest is definitely higher than inflation. If it is not going to be higher than inflation, there is no point in investing. That's what he mentioned. So this is a full list, and savings bank, we all know it's an independent one, which is for day-to-day activity. Deposits are the one on which a lot of people are dependent, especially senior citizens. And we know, according to the tax law, any interest beyond 10,000 is taxable for ordinary people. However, for senior citizens, more than 50,000 alone is taxable. The great advantage of deposit, it has been explained, is the liquidity, and it helps you to keep your money in a state where you can withdraw it immediately. Like it was mentioned by Rajesh last time, you should have an emergency fund. So there is, will somebody take on the vis-a-vis benefit deficiency of these multiple deposits? Banks, obviously the one which is most secure will give you the least interest. The least secure is going to give you more interest. So how does one look at this? And if I have, let's say, 2 lakhs money which I want to put it somewhere, where should I put it? Will somebody come and advise me? Yeah, right.
Yeah, actually, nowadays there are so many small finance banks, and the government has also increased the deposit insurance to up to 5 lakhs. So they give a reasonably better interest rate. They give even up to 7.7% for regular persons and up to 7.9% to senior citizen. So up to 5 lakhs you can deposit in a fixed deposit in a small finance bank. A lot of banks are available. Equitas Bank, Bandhan Bank, and so many new small finance banks are available. And see, all these banks, they are all under Reserve Bank of India. And whatever it is, whatever done, your money is actually safeguarded and is directly overseen by Reserve Bank of India. So up to 5 lakhs we can have in fixed deposit in some of these small finance banks. That's my.
It is also seen that some of these people who retire, for example, and they get a lump sum of, let's say, 25 lakhs, they put it into one bank. If something happens to the bank, they'll get only 5 lakhs back. So what is the advice for those people? Should they split it between various banks?
Finally, it's the same, sir. Whatever be the bank, finally it's the same. You're not going to get your money. I mean, what all the banks gives you an insurance or whatever money you have up to 5 lakhs only. So splitting between banks may not be a good idea, but they can multiple investments policies, like probably you're going to come up with next, like other ULIPs or mutual funds. Those things they can start on bit early, not when they retire. And the lump sum amount, usually all these people, they have an idea of finishing any loans. I would advise people not to finish your long-term loans because you've already paid the interest for all these loans. So don't go jump and say, I want peace of mind. So right now, let me close all the loans. Please stay away from it, because the initial few years you pay the entire interest for the amount for the, whatever principal you have taken, you have paid the interest already. So take the cushion of paying it by EMI later. And into small finance banks, I actually differ with Sivaraj sir. Sorry, sir. But getting 7% interest with inflation of around 6 to this thing doesn't make.
No, not like that. Just as a emergency fund, no emergency fund. Fixed deposit.
With COVID around, I want to have money so that I can take it immediately.
Yeah, so that you can take it
to the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, Varun, I want to know. Supposing I put 5 lakhs in bank A. Varun, if I want to ask you, as far as my understanding is concerned, if I put 5 lakhs in one bank, another 5 lakhs in another bank, if there is a problem, each bank will give me 5 lakhs. Different banks, one IDFC,
they are
one
supposed
HDFC.
to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, each bank is supposed to. But I don't.
Okay. So last time Rajesh made a point about gold as a kind of investment. There are some people who wanted to know what is paper gold. Will you give some idea as to what paper gold is and how they can go about?
Yes, physical gold can be bought as you can buy it as either gold bonds or physical gold in the form of in the form of paper. Both means the same, but with gold bonds you also get a return. Like it is like an investment and you get an interest. The interest may not be good, but at least instead of putting your gold inside some locker, it is better to have it in the bonds. And all these bonds can be liquidated within 24 to 48 hours online. So okay. I think that is the two ways of gold. I have not started investing. I'm not that rich, so I think somebody else can elaborate on that.
Okay, so how is that the current sovereign gold fund bond, which is touted to be one decent way of putting money in gold? And I believe there is the current one is available till 10th of this month. And according to this,
Yes.
yeah, 6th July to 10th July, and you can apply online, which is quite easy, and you can apply through any bank. Lots of other options are there, and you get a certificate like this. But there is a lock-in period, and I believe the lock-in period is 8 years, but after 5 years you can take it out with some penalty, I presume. Okay, now we come to the equity related investment, and everybody says investment in equity are subject to market conditions. And now, Rajesh, what would you say about your very strong proponent of investment in equity related instruments?
So I would like to make a couple of comments on the previous thing also.
Yeah.
One is that one of the doctors recommended banks, small banks, the regularity with which small banks are failing. You can lose 2-3%, 4% in interest, but at least stay with the safe ones. If you put expecting that 5 lakhs will come back from one of the small banks or the cooperative banks, there are so many failing with unfailing regularity. So you should not risk your money putting it in there. Is the one thing I wanted to say. And secondly, on gold, I had spoken last time. This is the best way to invest in gold. Currently, the scheme is open, so it should be done.
What percentage of your savings should you put it in money? 5%, 10%, 50%? Other than the ladies, of course.
In gold.
How much? 10%?
About 10%. There are people who recommend from 5 to 25, but approximately 10% of your savings should be in gold. I mean, if you had 10% of your savings in gold, which has given a 25% return over the last 2 years, you would not be suffering so much with your equity losses. So that is the basic aim of when equity and the other asset classes do badly, gold normally does well. So it kind of balances your portfolio.
Okay. See, this is just one of the shares from Chennai. See, probably the dream share. If somebody had purchased MRF share in 93 at 11 rupees, it is 67,000 rupees now. 6,000 times it has moved. But then, not every share will become like this. Some of them will nosedive from 10 to 0 also. So, overall, it has been shown in the last talk that the shares keep rising generally over a period of time. The return on shares is probably the highest of all investment strategies. However, it was also explained that anybody who enters equity related should be prepared for a market mayhem like this. Suddenly, in 2-3 days, you lose 25% of your value of investment, and there is very little you can do about it. So, despite all that, it has been explained that if you stick to the market for longer time horizon, your returns are probably the best. As this Bloomberg study says, if you keep an inflation of 7.2, the highest return is from equities over a period of 20 years. This is Indian data, whereas banks give you about 7.9. So given this scenario, obviously if somebody has money to keep it for a longer time, it is advised that people should get into mutual fund, probably a simplest way. Now, will Rajesh talk on how the mutual fund works?
Yeah. So I spoke about mutual funds last time. That the best part about these funds is that you automate your process of investing. That you don't have to look at share prices on a daily basis and suffer from one-off share, because each fund usually there are focused funds, there are multi-cap funds, there are the large cap funds. They invest in anything from 25 to 50 or even 60 shares. So they spread out your investment, and it is not stuck in very few shares that all your money is stuck. So basically, the thing is, the mutual funds keep doing well, they keep doing badly. So the ratings keep changing over a period of time. So one of the things that you should do is you should stick to only 3 to 5 funds. You should not go beyond that. And second thing is, which I forgot to mention last time, is that these should generally be from different fund houses. So don't buy everything from one fund house. I'll give you an example of Franklin Templeton, which is very much in the news these days. Franklin Templeton.
Hello. Yeah, I think some net connective problem. Vimal, what do you say? We'll ask Rajesh to join us when he gets back. So with this, how do you assess the risk profile of a person? Like,
actually, the person should assess himself. Like what amount of, say, the risk is what amount of capital you can lose.
And still
so
sleep.
Still sleep. Yeah. So each person should understand his risk appetite and then go about it. So it would be better to, say, for example, instead of you want to invest, like from savings, things have moved to investment. So from you keep it in a bank, you get this amount of interest. You put it in FD, this amount. So you need more, but it has to be safe. So I think it's better to go for especially when you're starting, it's better to go for a safe investment, which is like the risk is like moderate. Or low risk will only give you 1 or 2% more than inflation. It won't give you more than that. I don't think. I think Varun would agree. If you go for at least a moderate risk, don't go for high risk, especially when you start investing before understanding something. And you always, as sir said, that would be the best thing to do. You have few so that you can follow, and you don't go for Franklin Templeton. Was like, it was a very big house. Suddenly it collapsed, and then everybody is running. What collapsed was not the equity fund. It was a bond fund that collapsed. So there was so much mayhem about that. So it's better to invest in few different houses, and you should have a basic understanding. If you don't know, and if you want to invest a lot amount of money, it's better to go for financial consultation before doing it.
Okay, so you recommend that it should be like getting into a cold water bath. First touch your forefoot, touch your leg, and then go slowly. Okay, so go slowly, assess your risk profile, and then go ahead. Yes, Rajesh, you're back.
So what I was saying was, for example, Franklin Templeton for the last 25 years has been one of the top performers. But now suddenly what we did was, there's lots of things going wrong. It was not just the bond schemes, the 6 bond schemes which they shut down. For example, the Franklin Blue Chip Fund has been returning the best kind of returns of a large cap fund for the last almost 20 years. But in the last 5 years, it is at the bottom. It is out of 85 funds, it is 84 or 85. So, in fact, in the last month or so, Franklin Templeton has lost almost 30% of the investing value in its equity funds also. So, earlier the thing was, if you choose, for example, a Franklin Blue Chip, Franklin Prima, which was a mid-cap fund, then a Franklin Prima Plus, which was a multi-cap fund, and a Franklin Tax Shield, you could cover the entire range of mutual funds in one house. But now people are withdrawing from there. So what I'm trying to emphasize is, you invest in 3 to 5 funds, but they should be from different fund houses.
Okay, so now you are trying to tell me the gone are the days like you buy the two-wheeler, fill it, shut it, and forget it. So that can't apply to your investments.
That is true. That is true. You have to keep following and keeping track of your investments. You can't say that I'll invest in this fund for the next 20 years. You have to keep looking at it because things may change.
Okay, Dr. Kumaresh, Vimal has suggested that your risk appetite has to be adjusted by the individual. What about the other factors which help you to choose the above?
We should check how long it is that. Yeah, we should see how much the corpus is. It should be not too small or too large. Both are very difficult for the fund managers, and their consistent return should be there for the past 3 years, 5 years track records that we should see, and how much return it has given, how much risk they are taking, and what about the fund manager and their consistency. All those things we should monitor. And technically, if we want to say me, we have to see the standard deviation, Turner ratio, alpha, Fortune ratio, like that. But we don't complicate that much. If you see what is the return that we are given consistently for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, then we can go for a consistent fund manager. We can go with consistent fund manager.
So as an advisor, you will give an a la carte approach to this and
Yes,
let the person make a deliberate decision as to what is good for him.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Can you just touch upon this SIP, Systemic Investment Plan, which everybody says is the best form of investment?
Yes, sir. We are emotional on insurance and investments. But we know very well buy low, sell high. But what we do is we buy at higher level and we sell at lower level, because we enter into share market only when everyone is talking about share market. But if the market falls, we'll come out and say that share market is at loss. And Rajesh has clearly said that we have to put our investment in autopilot mode. So to break that emotion of emotions, we have to go for systematic investment plan, irrespective of the market conditions, whether the market is high or low. Goal-based planning, we are going to see in financial planning, because my daughter's marriage is after 20 years, my retirement is after 20 years. So why we should go into the volatility? We should worry about the volatility of this market. Just put the thing in autopilot mode. We can reach the goal after 20 years. Because last time we have seen that after 15, 20 years, the market has gone up. In spite of so much, 3 times market has fallen 50 to 60%. In spite of that, market has given 15 to 16% return. So to put this everything in autopilot mode, systematic investment plan will work beautifully.
So systematic investment plan is the way to go for most people. And
Yes,
for
sir.
a longer time, that is the best option.
Best option.
Okay.
To beat the emotions.
Yeah. So now somebody wanted to know how to get into mutual funds. Obviously, you can apply through distributors, agents, banks, intermediaries, or you can apply directly to the fund houses. So I think it's all very easy. All people need to do is either talk to somebody like you or just check out the net. You can get any number of things. What would you advise for somebody to go directly into this or talk to people like you?
Initially, we are very busy. We can't monitor it because we are busy surgeons, we doing with our work, family, all those things. So initially, for 5 to 6 years, have with a financial advisor help. Then do it directly also. Get advisor. Invest 50% with advisor, 50% direct.
Become Rajesh. Take help of people like you.
So I would like to say a couple of things which I'll say in the end. But there is a difference between investing through an advisor or through an intermediary and investing direct. The difference of your return is about 1% per year. So because 1% is what the advisor or the intermediary, for example, you go through HDFC Securities, they will charge a 1% of the corpus just without any advice to you. That will be charged as the fee of the maintenance charges of the account, which you don't have to pay if you go direct. So as it is, you are not going to deal in 15, 20 funds. You have to just invest in 3 to 5. Even that 5 is a very high number. If you're investing in an equity-linked saving scheme, then probably you will reach that 5. Otherwise,
Tejo, 2 minutes, Tejo, you're going to switch off.
Just 3 to 4 funds, if you're investing, there is no need to go through an intermediary. You can deal with the mutual fund houses themselves, and you will, over a period of 25, 30 years, you gain a lot with that 1% of your corpus every year.
So for which you should be knowledgeable enough to identify those 3. How does one get into that stage?
So you said cycling there. It's like cycling. First, you need to have somebody to hold you from behind.
Yeah.
Then, once you get the idea, you have to push and pedal forward by your own.
Okay.
So,
That's a
and
very good example. Yeah. So
so
till such time
like
you are able to go nicely.
yes,
Don't
sir.
get into this.
Yes, sir. We can open a Demat account ourselves and go instead of going for all these things. And I think in last meeting also we mentioned about money control. There are a lot of websites that give you idea. I'm
Yeah,
still
I
learning.
put them here. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So we just need to get the idea, but only you cannot do it as an outside student. You have to go in there, get in there, see how much things change each year. And we should go for long-term investment. Short-term day trades we should avoid. So they may give you the euphoria of getting $1,000 easy made. All these things, you are bound to lose a lot of money in just 1 day or 2 day when the market crashes. So
Yeah, it's
instead of
like
going,
horse racing, I presume. Because invariably, first time you go to the horse racing, you win.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Beginner's luck. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now coming to equity investment in shares, will somebody take on Rajesh?
So, as I said last
It's not
time,
for every beginner, obviously.
yeah, so the best returns are to be got from direct investing into shares. But it is not for a person who has never done it in his life. But still, there is the thrill of, you mentioned horse racing.
Yeah.
So there's the thrill of having done something, achieved something on your own. If you want to go for that thrill, you can just put your feet into that cold water and test it. You can buy 1, 2 shares. What I recommend is, if you want to buy shares, if you buy the number 5 company or the number 10 company in that sector, that is probably going to give you the best returns over the next 20 years. But if you choose the company number 1 and company number 2 in that sector, these are, for example, I named HDFC Bank last time. It's called one of the consistent compounders. So you have these kind of companies in every sector. You have the HDFC Bank, you have the ICICI Bank, you have the Kotak Mahindra Bank in banks. In housing finance, you have the HDFC, the LIC Housing. In IT, you have TCS and Infosys. There is no thinking required in this. I mean, you want to invest in the top names, they will consistently compound your money and you will get the thrill of having invested in equity. Don't go everything, don't invest 100% into equity yourself, especially if you're starting. But some amount of equity investment gives you a kind of a thrill and it will give you the best return. But don't go for
But you can
people's
also lose money.
recommendations.
Rajesh, there is evidence to say that there is a scientific study done in New York Stock Exchange. They found a financial guru and a chimpanzee fared same after 3 years.
That is why the SIP philosophy, sir. Because what happens is the systematic investment plan is not actually a kind of a automated investing thing which puts a regular amount of money every month. The biggest thing about a SIP is it takes your psychology out. Because the moment the market falls 30-40% as it fell in March, people even stop their SIPs. They just get out of the market. Whatever is left, at least let me take it out. That is our psychology. If we can keep that aside and continue our SIPs when the market falls 40%, we are getting the same shares at 40% less cost. Eventually, over a period of time, the market will keep rising. It has risen from 100 to 36,000. So it will keep rising over a period of time. But if you stop your SIPs when the fall happens and you start your SIPs when it starts rising, then you're buying high and you are selling low, which is the opposite of what you should be doing.
Okay,
So
thank
that
you.
is why people lose money in shares.
So
Because
be consistent. Be consistent. That is it. Be a marathon runner. Keeps running slowly, steadily. Okay. Now to talk about income tax. Now there has been far too many changes that have been taking place. Most of us have been told that you will have to pay income tax. And if you don't want to pay income tax, then you got to put in a lot of money into that. With the result, you have nothing at home. Every month, everything is somewhere here and there. And now the income tax, the new regime has come, wherein they knocked out a whole lot of these deductions. So we should now be able to tell some of our viewers if they are in a quandary as to whether they should stay with the old regime or come into the new regime. In broad thing, I know that accepting section 80 CCD 1B, which is to with the national pension scheme, all other deductions have been taken out in the new regime because you are paying at a much lower rate. Instead of 30%, you probably will be paying at 20%. Okay, now for those who have investment into many of these instruments and want to claim some income tax rebate, now this is the shuffle one. You have deductions under section 16, which is the standard deduction, which is 50,000. Now that is going out in the new regime. And you have entertainment allowance, professional tax, which is not generally applicable to most of us except in government service. What is important is deductions in Part C under Section C and its subsections, 80D, about which we mentioned earlier, and 80TTB and other things. Now I'll ask the panelist to just talk to us about this. What would somebody advise who has 2 children and is paying 1 lakh towards the tuition fees? Should he going for exemption under Section 80C and put in some more money elsewhere? Varun, yeah, what would you say?
So that's a very tricky question. It should be tailor-made for each person. Whatever investments you have already made, I think government has now given the option of you choosing between both.
Correct.
So your auditor will help you in telling you which one is better for you because he knows your complete investments. He might tell you that what is better suited for you. And I think I have talked to many of my chartered accountant friends. They say this new regime, though they say that you are going to pay less tax, actually you will be ending up paying more. So I think we should stick on to the older plan of investing into different amounts and getting the deductibles. I think I am for that. I think other panelists can lament on this.
Dr. Kumresh.
Finance Minister has clearly stated that soon they are going to close all those deductions. So after 2 or 3 years, there will be no new regime or old regime.
Okay, it will be amalgamated.
Yeah, next 1 to 3 years before this government go, every tax saving sections will be go off. So only new regime will be there after 2 or 3 years.
So the so-called attraction which is given by many of these schemes will cease to exist.
Yes, Finance Minister has already told.
Okay, but as of now, NPS is there. Will you talk about NPS? It is supposed to be a very good one. I think if I am young, if I am looking for a pension fund, I will probably put it into NPS.
No, I don't suggest. No, I don't suggest. No.
Okay. Vimal, what would you say?
Sir, I would disagree because
actually I think NPS is a very good plan.
Sorry.
Yeah, Vimal sir, I think from my point of view, NPS is very good. There are 2 tiers in that. One, you go for a deferred, you cannot take the money as a loan outside, and second tier where you can go for a loan at any point of time. So if you go for the one without any possibility of taking any loan at any point, that gives you better returns. And NPS is definitely a very good tool, like your SIPs and everything. It is. I think that we can compare this to the whatever royal pension all the other countries are having. So NPS is an equivalent to that. And I think from a professional point of view, also it's a very good point of investment.
Okay, Vimal, what are you saying?
Sir, I would suggest to, for example, the exemption is 50,000. So you take a bare minimum, whatever may be your age, especially when you're in around 40s, like you take a bare minimum, take 50,000 and you leave it there because you have other instruments where we are going to invest and you're going to see the return. This we don't know how the returns should be. As Varun said, there are 2 tiers. The first tier would be like a regular one that would give us tax exemptions. I think we actually, my auditor suggested to me in 2016, I think. Since then, I've been taking only the minimum one. That's that 50,000. I take only 50,000 a year. I think it would help.
I think NPS is what is said to be triple E, exempt. When you put in money, it is exempted from tax. Whatever money it earns, it is exempted. When you withdraw at the end, it is exempted. See, like this.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, that's what it says.
No,
NPA, no, NPA,
Oh, PPF.
NPA,
exempted.
yeah, PPF is fully tax free. Yeah, PPF is fully tax free, but NPS is not like that. Only no tax 60%. You are correctly drawn. So it should be remaining 40% compulsorily. It is going into annuities. So in my lifetime, I am not going to see the 40% of the money that is grown, and the lock-in period is long. Suppose I am 30, it's 28 years lock-in period means it's not acceptable for me because I need liquidity. 28 years lock-in period is too much. That how much we are going to invest in 28 years? 14 lakhs, only 14 lakhs. But 40% of the money is going to annuities, and that annuity interest is also taxable. So end of the day, the returns are very less.
60% is tax free.
Yeah, only
60% is tax
60%.
free. The other
Only
40%.
60%. Yeah,
But I
only
think it's still
60%.
better than many other things where there is no tax exemption. Anyway, now come to PPF. Everybody says PPF is the first thing you should have. Should somebody
Yes,
have a PPF? Now, if the exemptions are going to go,
Yes, in spite of that, I will put in PPF because my wife asked me, "What are you doing?" Because we are private practitioners. What we are doing for do for pension? I showed the passport, PPF passport. In that, this year the interest income that we got is 2.4 lakhs. That means at the age of 45, I am getting 20,000 rupees as pension per month. Interest tax free. This much benefit we can't get anywhere. It's a beautiful instrument. Taxable, not taxable.
so PPF is the triple E.
Must. It's a must.
So whether there is going to be an exemption in future or not, you should still put.
In spite of that, interest is tax free. That's the beauty of that instrument.
Okay. So what about ELSS? Somebody can take it out in 3 years' time, the shortest lock-in period. Somebody who is about to retire, let's say, and he can utilize this opportunity to hold money in one of these save tax. So he saves 30% of the money he puts in, and gains beyond only 1 lakh are taxed. So that should be decent for somebody who is about to retire. In 3 years,
when we are going to equities, minimum we should be there for 7 to 8 years. So for going to retire when he needs money after 3 years means I don't suggest ELSS.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So, Vimal, can you talk about the Section D deductions? Earlier it was mentioned that if you have health policy, you can claim.
Yes, sir. Even now you can claim actually. For example, you have already put it in the table form. Like why you take it for yourself. Not only it gives us health coverage, it also gets us, benefit from the insurance. So whatever you pay is minus this insurance benefit you get from tax. And if you take a separate policy for your elderly members in the family, your parents, then that again would give you some benefit. So it's better to, it comes with, you're going to take an health insurance. So the benefit would be along with that. So it's better to use it for, it's only minimum like 25,000. Your deduction would be 25,000. And if you
you can also claim health checkup every year.
So that is when you, this is the, so if you have a master health checkup or preventive checkups, then that also can be submitted. It would, in the broader scheme of things, it is less, but it's better.
But I believe the caveat is it should not be paid in cash. It should be paid by card, check, online transfer. Otherwise, you can't claim this money.
It's always better. Everything should be either by check or card. It's better.
Okay, what about somebody who is old but doesn't have an insurance? Can he claim under Section 80D?
No, sir. If you have a expenditure, for example, if you are spending for your dad who is old, is more than 60, that expenditure can be taken as an exemption from the tax. So
I believe the caveat is, number one, you should be senior citizen. Number two, you should not be covered by any health insurance. You can't claim both.
You started with if there is no health insurance. So I thought,
correct. So I presume, that's good. Thank you. Section TTB. This is the one which gives senior citizens up to 50,000 tax exemption. So a lot of senior citizens are dependent on money that comes from FD for their maintenance, and this is not going to be available under the new regime.
Exactly, sir. Actually, my father-in-law is lot of TTBs. So what he does is like he has put it in a yearly, like monthly basis. So he gets around 1 lakh, 20,000 in 4 things. So he's very happy. Now it's like completely going off. So this, I think we don't have any use of it.
He's not going to vote for Nirmala Sitharaman. Okay.
Arjun, I suggest a solution.
Yeah.
Invest in debt mutual funds.
Okay. So the end of it, mutual fund, if you are going to keep it for longer time. So that is a time horizon. When you don't have a time horizon, you have only 3 years, 4 years. Would you recommend somebody to take somebody who is retiring, a senior citizen at the age of 60 is retiring or 58 is retiring and he gets a lump sum? Would you recommend that he puts it in mutual fund? Would you recommend that he puts it in FD? A portion of it.
No. First, senior citizen savings scheme.
Okay, I always believe that senior citizens who get a lump sum money on retirement are at phenomenal risk of getting the money poached by the family members.
True.
And a lot of senior citizens, they think they will have to save money for their children, build a second house for the second child. With the result, they are very uncomfortable and live nearly in penury. My personal feeling is that I'm lucky that way. My children have told me, Dad, we don't want your money, you blow it up. So I'm ready to blow it up if the lockdown goes away. Now, I would like you people to comment on this issue that a senior citizen should have an independent, financially comfortable life. And if they want, they can help children. It's not obligatory on them to keep helping children. What would you say? Varun.
First, I suggest.
Varun, you are not old enough. So.
What to do with lump sum, as you said, that many people invest in real estate and like getting new houses and stuff. But at this point, going for immediate annuity, there is an option called immediate annuity. That is, you put the lump sum, you will get interest from the next month onwards. That's a pension scheme. But the problem with immediate annuity is that instead of deferred annuity, the returns will be far lesser. But one good thing is that the money, what it is being promised to you on the first day, it will not go down like the fixed deposit rate. Fixed deposit rates are bound to change by repo rates. So these things are usually little bit buffered, but still they are bound to come down, but not like phenomenally like fixed deposit. So immediate annuity is one of the option, and some amount, as you said, in liquid money, cash. Either they can go for gold bonds or gold cash to be safer, because keeping gold for in old age people, they are at risk of being other risk like theft and stuff. So I think they should plan it accordingly, and it will be better. At least they start 5 years before retirement to have a comfortable monthly income. You need to understand that if you are happy with 1 lakh at this point of your life, you will require 5 lakhs when you retire 20 years down the line. If your monthly income is 1 lakh, with 1 lakh I can do all my groceries, my lifestyle, going for a dinner, going for a movie and stuff. You need at least 5 times that in 20 years down the line. That's what inflation tells you.
All right.
So you plan for the.
Yeah. Vimal, I have a question for you. Somebody who retires at the age of 58, he suddenly thinks he should build 1 floor above his existing house. He thinks with the rent he can live comfortably. Do you think it is a strong financial advice?
Currently, no, sir.
No. Okay. So a lot of people think this rental value is a good thing. I think instead they should put it elsewhere.
Actually, I will tell my story. My father gave a voluntary retirement. My mother thought, we were in Salem that time, she thought getting a house in Chennai would be fine because we had some lump sum amount. So that would be easy to pay and get it. At that particular point of time, it was 2000 actually. It sounded very valid and we got a house and that helped us a lot this 20 years. But currently it's the same, it won't be valid. It's not advised.
Oh. Okay, all right. So I also noticed that many of these people hand over whatever is with them to the children well before they die. And they are at the mercy of their children, which I think is not correct.
No.
So my personal view is that they should not hand over everything. If they have excess money, they can distribute while they are alive. But they should keep a minimum required plus some surplus with them till both of them die. If a person dies, it should go to the spouse. So at least the man and the wife are either or both should be living in their own house or have their own money. What would you say?
So the rental income, as I said, right now, a lot of IT people are moving away from the city back to their home where they can work from home. For example, in T Nagar area, where the 2-bedroom houses were going for 40,000 per month, even now 3-bedroom houses are available for 25,000. Lot of apartments have people vacated because they don't want, none of the IT companies are asking them to come back to the office in the next year. So if you have a Wi-Fi connection, you are well happy to be at your home place. So these things drive the rental market. Second thing, if you are in a sub-tier city or in a village or like not a metro city, rental income is very dangerous, because here when the people go in, you have to fall literally at their feet to get them out, unless they want to get out.
Okay.
And it's very tough. So rental income is not a foolproof, safe income for elderly people. So I think that's not the way to go, sir.
Okay. Now I would request
I
Dr.
suggest
Kumar to
four
talk to
points,
us
sir.
about financial planning, which last time could not be done properly. I'll switch this off. Kumaresh, you can start.
Sure. Okay, sir.
Yeah, you can start.
Yeah. Last time said thing, an idiot with a plan can beat a genius without a plan. For each and every client, I will put a case sheet, name, age, income, and the spouse income, income from other sources, and expenses. Income minus expenses is our savings. What are the loans they are having, and there may be many policies, life insurance policies, whether they have PPF or not. What they are doing for ATC purposes, what is the tool that they are using, and I will do risk profiling. Risk profiling consists of two things. Risk
Kumaresh, we are
tolerance.
not able to hear you clearly.
Wait a minute, sir. Now can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
So I will do risk profiling. That is risk capacity and risk tolerance. Both are two different things. They may have risk tolerance, but risk capacity should be there. And I do that.
Can you talk directly into your laptop mic? Your voice is not sounding all right with this.
Yeah. Now it's okay, sir.
Now it's fantastic.
Now it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. First, we have to do emergency fund.
Okay.
Emergency fund should be 6 to 12 months of our expense should be kept in emergency fund, and there should be term insurance, then mediclaim, equity linked savings scheme they are doing it or not, professional indemnity scheme. Then I will go to proper financial planning. That is, in a person's lifestyle, car is needed, house is needed, kids education, marriage, child education, marriage, and retirement. It is coming at which age, which year, and amount needed at present, and in that year, because of inflation, what is going to happen, and what is the solution. For example, this is my daughter's marriage planning calculator. As I told, my daughter is 6-year-old, and expected age of marriage is 26, and current marriage expenses, I think it is 20 lakhs. I put little bit inflation higher, 7.5, and I will decrease my expected returns to 15% instead of 16% as Sensex has given. So I put in calculator, the current cost of 20 lakhs will be 88 lakhs after 20 years because of inflation. How to reach that 88 lakhs? We can plan through SIP. 6,000 rupees. If I put money for next 240 months, if it gives 15% returns, then I can reach this 88 lakhs, so that I can very well do my daughter's marriage. Similarly, I have calculated for my son's marriage, it has come to 3,000 rupees. This thing, SIP, we have already discussed. To break the emotion of investment and insurance, we have to put in autopilot mode with this systematic investment plan. And this is my retirement planning calculator. My current age is 45. I want to retire at the age of 65. Expectancy 80. My current monthly expense is 50,000 rupees. Expected inflation rate, I put it as 7.5. And pre-retirement, I will invest in equities, and that can give 15% of the returns. Post-tax, post-retirement, I don't want to take any risk and I will put in debt mutual funds. And if you click this calculate button, the current monthly expense of 50,000 rupees will be 2.38 lakhs per month after 20 years because of this inflation. And if I want 2.38 lakhs as interest income, I need to create a corpus of 4.14 crores. To reach the corpus of 4.14 crores, I need to plan SIP of 24 lakh rupees, 24,000 rupees. That is, if I invest 24,000 rupees per month for next 240 months, and if it gets 15% returns, I can reach the corpus of 4.14 crores. And if with this 4.14 crores, I will put in debt fund, yes, I can withdraw 2.38 lakhs from that as systemic withdrawal plan. I can live peacefully as a retirement pension plan. So, as already we have discussed, I have kept aside 4,000 rupees for my term insurance, medical insurance 3,000 rupees, for my daughter's marriage 6,000 rupees, and son's marriage 3,000 rupees, and for my retirement 24,000 rupees. My expense is 50,000 rupees. Income tax for this, if I earn 1 lakh per month with the ATC and AT deductions, I have to take 10,000 rupees as income. So if you add all those things, so totally, if I earn 1 lakh per month, and if I properly plan, then term insurance and medical insurance will keep peace of mind. And as a father, I don't depend on my kids for my retirement, and marriage also I am doing, and expense also taken into consideration. All my basic needs are fulfilled if I earn only 1 lakh per month, and properly if I plan, I can reach all those things. All my needs can be done. For want, for next car, next foreign trip, for education, my wife is also earning 1 lakh per month. Apart from income tax 10,000 rupees, 90,000 rupees we are having. For wants, my wife is there to help. So, as an advisor, I am having this a private app, Wealthy Office app, and we can see all my investments, because it's very difficult to track how much the returns it is giving. So, if you click this portfolio, you can do purchase, for all those things we can do invest online. And if you click by through invest online, if you click this portfolio, all these funds will come in one place. All mutual fund come in one place. And if I click this white place, that from which bank it is withdrawn, it will show. For whether the SIP has gone or not, we can just click transaction details. It will show all these transaction details. No need to check the bank details. And if you want to see the fund analysis, just click this. It will show the fund analysis for the past 5 years. As the market has gone down, it shows this. And next thing is goal tracker. If you click this goal tracker, all this retirement, education, marriage, all these things will link one particular fund to that particular goal, so that whether we are reaching or not, we can see. If you just click retirement, a tank will come. If it is green color, it is full of because SIPs. Because of this market fall, a small red has come. To fill this tank, around 865 rupees SIP needed to be done. It is showing. But the client asked, I said, because of the market is down, it is showing. No need to fill anything. Already the goal is after 18 years. So no need to do anything. What will happen if I do 500 rupees SIP is 15% return for the next 42 years, means the invested value is 2.52 lakhs. The maturity amount will be 1.5 crores. This is what Einstein has told. He who understands the compound interest earns it. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And is it guarantee? No. There is no guarantee in life, neither in wealth nor in wealth. Be aware, be knowledgeable, be disciplined. That's the best one can do. So, investment is post-tax return should be at least 1% above inflation. Don't mix insurance with investment. Don't borrow to invest. If our investment horizon changing car after 3 years means we should not invest in equity mutual funds. We should invest in debt mutual funds that can give 8 to 9% returns. For my son's education after 5 to 6 years, I should invest in hybrid mutual funds that can give 10 to 12% returns. If our goal is more than 8 years only, we should invest in equity mutual funds. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Lovely. Uh, can you switch this off, please? Okay. So you covered the very important financial as planning. Now, one thing which we have not covered so far is estate planning or making a will. Okay, I'll just, I mean, what I know of estate planning, I'll share, and you experts can. Okay, recently, since the day I started earning, I was required to write a will. That was a requirement in the armed forces. So I had it written. And when you get married, you are forced to change the will because it automatically includes your wife. So periodically you are asked every year, is there a will? Your will is all right. So I've been in the discipline. Recently, because of the corona business, I revised my will. And classes have not changed. And whatever extra earned over the years since the last will I had to include. So I would like the experts to tell, in my opinion, who should write a will and when. Dr. Shivaraj.
Sorry, sir, I'm not well versed in this. You can ask senior persons.
Okay, so I think anybody who earns, who has a property, whether it is a motorcycle, whether it's a car, house, bank account, anything, whether it's a immobile or mobile property. Rajesh, what would you say?
Sir, I would like to quote one of the authors. The Dilbert cartoon strip is brought out by an author called Scott Adams. He was a financial advisor for some 30 odd years. He was a financial consultant. And he's written one, on Google you'll find it. What is a financial plan? He's given it in 87 words. How you should manage your finances. And he says that's the only thing you need to do to manage your finances in 87 words. His first advice is write a will. The first thing that you should do before insurance, before contingency fund, before everything else, the first thing that a will should be there. That's the first thing of your investment plan.
Okay. So what are the essentials of a will? I presume it should list out all your mobile properties, etc., your debts, whatever you owe to others, everything.
Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of ready-made proformas available on the net, which will give you the entire breakup. You don't have to think of it. It will give you all your movable and immovable assets, including your equity investments, your mutual funds, including the folio numbers, everything. You can just list it down. There are diaries available. You can just take a printout and you can just jot down the things out of which matter to you and which affect you, and you can just make it. It's quite simple.
Okay, very interesting, which I learned when I rewrote my will is that the whatever nomination right in your bank accounts, right in whatever FD you have, has no relevance unless that person appears in the will. If I write my wife's name in all things and in the will I write somebody else, my wife will just be a custodian for that money.
That's true.
Of course, the law does not permit me to exclude my wife in writing my will. There are certain clauses under which, as an individual, if I earn, where I can give. Okay. So, I would like Varun to give his opinion on estate planning before I ask Kumaresh to give his opinion. Vimal, you have written your will. What are the important things you would tell people?
No. I have not written my will actually. I think it's learning for me also, thinking about it. But I think I understand how important it is, especially you have a lot of assets that known or unknown. And it's better to, sort it out. When you go, there's you have a car, you have a house now, you have something income on your portfolio. So it's better to sort it out. I think it's a good housekeeping work, especially for the children and the family.
See, one of the major reasons for siblings to fight is on property because there is no clarity on that. So many parents don't write a will, or if they write a will, they don't tell whom. So the will is contested. So it is better that a person who writes a will tells this is the will and he should register it ideally. Even if it doesn't register, it is okay. Okay, Dr. Kumaresh, what would you say about writing a will?
It's a must, sir. As you clearly said, the ideal day to write a will is the day you open the savings bank account.
Okay.
And the next ideal day is yesterday, not even today, because our president
People
has
miss yesterday.
because our president died when we talk now. I can buy just at this moment. So this is not the ideal time. So two ideal times we have missed. So at least because it is very difficult to collect all these documents, at least try all those things. And estate planning by itself is a 1 hour topic. If our members want, I can present on that estate planning.
Okay.
I think his voice is not clear. As you said, so the will, not just the will, sir. There are a lot of things like where you keep your passwords, because most of the accounts passwords and most of all these passwords has to be kept in a paper format, in a hard copy, rather than keeping it in your laptop. Because your laptop, if it gets, if the password is not open for the laptop, then it is of no use. So like the will, all the passwords and for all the accounts and what are the accounts you are holding, better to have a hard copy. And once sitting down once a year to write these things, it helps you revise what are your plannings are, and whether you can also revise whether your earnings are either working for you or not. So I think we should go ahead with the practice of going for the will. But it is never too late, as sir has mentioned. It's never too late to start writing a will. But what most important thing about, even I have to get to start writing my will. But other than the will, the estate planning, as sir said, is a very, very big topic. And right now, better to have a good lawyer who can, at least you give him in a word format, just give a outline of what you want, and that he should be the person who should be answerable to you. He should make the will for you.
But I think these are available online. You pay 1,500 rupees, 3,000 rupees. You have a format in which you detail everything, and that is done. I think they also do the job of verifying it and then registering it also, because these are all run by some law firms. HDFC Securities itself has one tie-up, and it is called Will Genie or something.
Very good information, sir. I think I should look into it.
Yeah. So there are many. You just Google many. I came to know from HDFC because I checked and Will Genie came. So anyway, I asked a lawyer. My daughter happens to be a lawyer, so I chose her colleague. So it is hassle-free existence for me. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Kumaresh, can you just tell about the tools? So nomination, you let it decide. I believe the will permits you to decide which item will go to whom. If you have a carpet, priceless Persian carpet, if you want to give it to your daughter rather than your son, you can specify. If you want a Rolex watch which you have, you want to give it to your son rather than somebody else, you can accordingly specify. Each item up, you can write. Only thing is, you will be
have anything.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. The importance of estate plan, importance of.
No, we can't hear you. Your voice is something wrong with your mic.
Doing nothing, around 64,000 rupees lying in bank account because of this lack of estate planning. And 70% of the civil cases in civil courts are because of lack of estate planning. There is no will. So, as you clearly told, our siblings fight with each other and come to court. So, we should write will so that our kids should not fight after we die.
And curse you also. Okay. All right. I think there are some questions which I think we can take before we conclude.
Yeah, can I, Bhaskar?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Ravi Shankar here.
Yes, I can see, sir.
Yeah, the thing is, you're talking about lump sum at the time of retirement.
Yeah.
So when I retired and I had some money, I was told to put 15 lakhs in the post office savings scheme, which is the limit for a senior citizen. Is it a good option?
Yeah, Varun, would you agree on that?
Yes, sir. Post office schemes are really good at this point. It's for if you're looking for a tax saving benefit, yeah, it is not a bad choice. But you have other choices as well, sir. So it is not necessarily post office. You have a lot of insurance based ULIPs and other schemes to have your tax benefits, sir. If that is what you're looking into.
Yeah,
Just
my
remember,
point
sir,
is,
we gave whole lot of investments available under Section 80C. You will have to choose the flexibility of withdrawing it at 3 years, 5 years. You get best possible response when you have a lock-in period of long time. So at the age of 60, when you are putting money, you don't have that kind of luxury. You want shortest lock-in period and safest return.
okay, the next question is about PPF. Now, PPF for a person like me who's been in the armed forces for 4 decades, we never had a PPF because we had a provident fund. After retirement, I felt that at my age, 60, 61, 62, it was not worthwhile venturing into PPF. So I started putting that 1.5 lakhs under 80cc in the nationalized bank's 5-year tax saving scheme. Is that a good option?
Yeah, Varun, would you take that?
So now actually I'm not very well versed with the nationalized bank tax saving scheme because I usually don't recommend that. No, most of the people don't go for tax saving schemes as such. I don't think it's having very good return. So I'm not very well versed in that, sir. Maybe Kumaresh sir can help it out.
Get lump sum when I come for retirement. First thing I will do is I will keep aside senior citizen savings scheme. Put a small amount. That is, instead of putting lump sum, entire 15 lakhs per time, put 3 lakhs in your name, 3 lakhs in your wife's name. And like that, ladder it next 5 years. Because currently the interest rate is down, 7.4% it is giving. Next it may give 7%. But after that, it is going to increase as the economy increases. So you lose the chance of getting the higher interest rate. So first 3 lakhs in senior citizen scheme this year, next year 3 years, next year 3 lakhs, next year 3 lakhs, next year 3 lakhs. Like that, if you ladder it, every 5 years, the senior citizen scheme will get matured. What will do that with 12 lakhs? Put in 1 year FD, 2 year FD, 3 year FD, 4 year FD. Every year the FD will mature and put it that way, senior citizen savings scheme. Then, if it is more than that, put in Pradhan Mantri Vayavandana Yojana. That also gives 7.1% return, 7.4%, but the lock-in period is 10 years. So, so 60 lakhs is gone in this senior citizen scheme and Pradhan Mantri Vayavandana Yojana. And after that, if you have got some money, then we can try post office monthly income scheme, but the interest rate is very less. Put in liquid funds. And it will give liquidity, and after 3 years, if you get, we can get indexation benefits or never go beyond ultra short term fund. Either liquid fund or ultra short term debt fund that will be tax efficient. These 4 things what I suggest for my senior citizen clients.
Okay, thank you. Now we will just address some of the questions raised. There is somebody who is little upset that you people are not recommending private chit funds for FD. Vimal, would you like to put your money in a private chit fund because they give you better interest?
It's a better interest, but more risk. I would not recommend.
So you would not recommend? Even big names?
Even big names?
No.
And it is taxable also.
Yeah. I don't think.
It is taxable also.
Okay.
Chit funds are better if it's for the black money. You have some black money income, you put it in some chits nearby you, a family chit or your friend's colleague's chit, and get the money. Other than that, white money going into chit funds and paying tax for it doesn't make it worthwhile.
Okay, so somebody wanted some more clarification on NPS. How to open a national pension scheme?
Any financial investment people can help you out, sir. Even like your but don't go for the bank people. Any financial consultant can do. You can do it online also. You need not have a demat account also for that. We can help you out, sir. I think.
Okay, so there is somebody who wanted. So somebody has written that The bank relationship officers are useless. All they want is to invest in some fund or other. What is your opinion, Vimal?
They only see what happens is all these relationship managers have this. They get cuts like bonus or something when you invest in some scheme. So they have some target and then they target you actually. So
Okay.
it's better to, you should have some, you should ask the right questions to them, and they give you all sorts of things. Like they tell you this is not taxable, you get so much bonus, it comes up to 20 years, and you believe them. You tend to believe them because you don't know. It's better to ask the right questions. At least spend some time on the internet if you don't have financial consultants, and then invest rather than otherwise. It's going to be like you have 3 endowment policies, you will have a lot of ULIP schemes, and you won't like our colleague, it's because of the relationship manager he has invested. Otherwise he won't have, like you said, the client scenario you presented before, 6 lakhs here, and then better
Okay,
not.
I have this scenario which is there. So he's a young surgeon, just started practice. He's got a two-wheeler, no insurance of any kind. So he's earning enough to make 20 kilo above his expense. So what should you do with this amount, Dr. Vimal? What would you do? Young fellow, not married, he only has a two-wheeler, and he earns about 20 kilo above his expense. He has no insurance of any kind.
So
He has no, yeah.
So I would like to first, as we told you, initially you should have at least health insurance, which you take
Okay.
whatever.
First is health insurance, because he doesn't need life insurance, because he is not looking after anybody.
You should have a life insurance, especially you don't know how his parents are, and you should have a life insurance and also a health insurance. Apart from
And
he
one
can,
of the professional indemnity, because he's a surgeon at risk. Yeah, Dr. Shivraj gave examples. So if he's left with, after that, he is left with 10,000 rupees. What can he do with that? Varun?
I think you can start with SIPs.
Not NPS?
Sir, NPS, yes, I think he has got time, and it's never too late. You can start as early as you start, the better will be the return. But first, you need to understand that he is now in a risk appetite should be high for his young age. So he has got nothing to lose. So he should start venturing into the market scenario, get an idea, not to get a profit out of it, just to get an idea of what that. And after that, he should probably, yes, he should plan for his retirement also. But maybe once he gets more dependence with him, he should start spending more on the pension part of it. Right now, he should go for equity, and he should blow some money to get some experience. Either you get a good return or a good experience.
But you should also build up an emergency fund. First thing he should do is write his will. First is he should write his will, get his insurances. Then he should have an emergency fund provision. After that, you should put into various other things. Okay, let's go to the next one.
It will be difficult to convince him to write a will, but maybe you should. We can convince him about 3 months' salary as an emergency fund.
Okay, now we have a lady surgeon who gets a gift of 4 lakhs from her father. She wants to spend that money to get a clinic for herself. She wants to do it after all this COVID business. So what should she do with that money, 4 lakhs? Only available for a few months, 6 months, as long as the COVID continues.
Few months, we have
put it in a
months,
liquid
don't
fund.
have any idea.
Yeah, Rajesh, sorry.
She should just put it in a liquid fund.
Okay, so liquid fund, and take it whenever she wants.
Yeah.
Okay, one fund, that's it.
What?
Yeah, Varun, you have different ideas?
No, for 3 months, I don't think we can invest in anything. The mutual fund or ULIPs, nothing gives you good returns. So 4 lakhs, she can buy some maybe physical gold or gold bond, and hopefully when she is planning for the thing, she can mortgage it or she can sell it.
Okay, so that is the other option.
Yes,
okay.
Sir, commodities.
Okay, so here is a surgeon with 17 years of thing, 44 years, married, double income, single kid, both in salaried job. The total income is 2.8 lakhs, and they have a daughter who is in 10th, wants to do engineering. And this is the financial status. And the couple can save 40,000 rupees every month after paying for the EMI of the flat. So what should they do with that? They got one goal. The girl is in 12th. She wants to do something.
Engineering, good.
And
Sir.
of course, engineering is not going to cost so much of money as they need to plan significantly.
But if they're planning for robotics in a high-tech campus engineering, it also still costs. Not like medical profession, but it still costs.
Okay.
But these are the people who should start planning their pension. And they should get this goal of getting the 10th means 12th standard, and within 3 years they need a lump sum amount, probably anywhere between 10 to 25 lakhs. So they should plan for that. For that, ULIPs may not be a good option. Even mutual funds may not be a good option for that. They can probably go into market mutual funds for that. Those things, but they should start planning their pension and invest in a good health and term insurance, and other things as you have mentioned clearly before, the will for them is a very important part. I think any other panelist have some other idea about estate planning.
He has a life insurance of only 40 lakhs. His wife is working. So does he need to step it up?
Definitely, sir. He should at least get a minimum of 2 crores for himself, 2 crores for his wife. Both
no,
are
but his
working.
wife can look after herself in the eventuality with 40 lakhs.
But still, your commitments go based on his salary also, sir. So his productivity is also required. For survival, the wife's thing should be, but for whatever commitment they have made, like already invested in a house or housing loan or whatever, that will still require his income. So he needs to ensure his productivity doesn't get missed because of his absence.
Okay, Varun, I also loathe to look at people who live in penury for a brighter future later. They spend everything into various savings. Is that right?
Sir, the fun of the journey is not only in the destination, sir. The fun of the journey is also enjoying it. So you should also spend for yourself a bit. You should give you some sort of a good trip, a foreign once in 2 years. Go for one foreign trip. Once in a year, go for a good family trip. All these things are must. Instead of planning to live in a big bungalow when you retire, you should also enjoy the journey till you reach the destination.
Good. That's a very nice point. So this is what General Ravi Shankar has asked. So somebody retiring and he's got a 40 lakhs retirement benefit coming. What should we do with that in terms of priorities?
Yes, I think Kumaresh, we need to have
He's a person who is retiring, can go and work. So you should do some financial planning. Dr. Kumaresh.
Yes, sir.
What should we do with this 40 lakhs? He's not going to directly depend on earnings because he's going to work for some more time. Say maybe another 10 years, 8 years, 5 years.
Whether the kids are married?
Yeah.
Financial difference?
One is married. It's written there. Two children. One
Okay.
married, other is working.
Okay.
The other he's got his own house.
Okay.
You will also get some pension, whatever pension the government gives.
Can keep aside some money for marriage, kids' marriage, and then start investing in safe instruments because it is nowhere it is given that what are the other assets he has got, how much he has got in PPF or like that, something like that. So with this 40 lakhs, this senior citizen scheme are short tenure fixed deposits, liquid funds, and ultra short term funds. So it's more than sufficient for any person. If you add more basket, more confusion as the age goes on, there will be more confusions, no? Because if you put money in so many places, it's very difficult to track or retrieve the money whenever required. So keep it simple.
Okay, thank you. Rajesh, you have been almost through this stage. What you have done?
So actually, I don't believe in FDs.
Okay.
And at that time, I did not have the time to put it into senior citizens savings scheme and the Vaya Vandana Yojana. And I'm a big believer of equity. So what I did was I divided it into 4 liquid funds and started systematic transfer plans into equity funds of different fund houses. So that's the way I've done it.
Okay, I have one more question. The so-called pension fund, is it better than a long-term good equity fund where you can keep drawing money periodically like a pension?
Pension fund means?
Pension fund people put every year, every month, whatever, over a period of time it becomes a corpus. Most of them are unit-linked funds.
Yeah, unit-linked funds. I don't think if you want to invest for the for the long term, you are still aiming for the long term. I mean, you may die tomorrow, but you are planning to live forever. So still, I would think equity is the best option, and I have enough in liquid funds to withdraw whenever I need it, because I actually needed a lot of money for my daughter's admission into a college at that time. So that helped.
Okay, thank you.
Baskaran, we got 5 more minutes.
Yes. So we are finishing. The key financial mantra for the surgeon, as I understand from all these experts, is that, like Varun just said, you should live well. And you should not die in penury or at the mercy of others, including your own children. That is number one. So you got to take care of your future. You need to have a life insurance of adequate value for your family's safety when you are not going to be around. Obviously, you need a health insurance for self and family, and professional indemnity as long as you work. You must execute a will when you start owning anything. So everybody has agreed on that, and you should periodically revise it. It also will tell you whether your investments and other things are in order. You keep track of it. And all experts have agreed that you need to have readily available emergency fund. So it should not be solid gold or something. You can't immediately take money, but you can pledge it. So you must save wisely with goals in mind and make the money multiply. So as long as you can utilize the tax benefits, then it gives you an added benefit. Miserable present for a bright tomorrow, which is a very important part of living, because the path itself also needs to be, journey itself also needs to be enjoyed. And you must do a financial planning for anticipated expenditure. Could be children's education, marriage, buying a car, etc., etc. And definitely for your retirement. And you must keep track of all your finances, and probably you must keep your family in the know, because it happens many times. Some people suddenly die and the family does not know what the husband owns. They don't even have access to his savings bank account. So which is not correct. And above all, when you are alive, any excess wealth you have, you distribute. But retain enough for yourself and your spouse till either of you is still alive. If there is any other important financial mantra which any other panelists would like to give, it will be very nice to hear.
Sir, I would like to say something.
Yeah.
We surgeons know of a thing called masterly inactivity. Once you have automated your investments, the need is not to do anything. I mean, if you have to change your financial plan for every news that comes, or China is doing something at the border, or Trump is doing something, if you have to change your financial plan for everything that happens, that means there's something wrong with your plan. And secondly, it is not so difficult. The tragedy of financial planning is, it is a very simple exercise. I mean, anyone with our kind of brain power, who the cream of so-called medical graduates who have so much brain power, require very little amount of power to master.
It's just that we need to apply our mind. We think it is something which we don't understand.
Yeah, we think it's so complex. It is actually very simple to do.
I would think so. Yeah. Dr. Shivraj, you have any final takeaway point? We can't hear you. Your thing is muted.
Dr. Rajesh has mentioned, it has to be we have to make a consistent saving actually. And it should not be, it should be periodical. And as everybody has mentioned, you should have your goals ready. You should make yourself separate investments for your goals. And the thing is, don't put everything in one single basket. Keep some percent in gold, some in mutual fund, some in fixed deposit, and like that. So, and as everybody is as already mentioned, now I understand that we should also have make a will so that
we should have had it yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, we should have had it yesterday.
Yeah, thank you. Vimal, any pearl for the last?
The only one thing I want to say is like don't take your health and wealth for granted.
Yes.
It can change any day. So you need to plan for that. So your health insurance, life insurance, and term insurance, and also some amount for you when you retire is very important.
And you should also run to keep it healthy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that would be my suggestion.
Thank you. Kumaresh, any last minute point?
For retirement, we have to keep 3 bucket strategies there. First 3 years, money, how much we need, we can put it in liquid funds. Then next 3 to 8 years money, we can set a small amount in balance fund and rest in ultra short term fund. And beyond 8 years, you can keep some amount of money as Rajesh sir clearly said, you must keep it in equities. Equities is a must in everybody's portfolio, even if you are 80 years, because that is the only liquid instrument that can do inflation-based returns in long term. Thank you.
Thank you. Varun, last minute before we sign off.
As I already mentioned, sir, we should understand what is our goal. Then we should understand what is our risk appetite. So how much we can spend, and we should know when we need what is the time frame which we should. So we should plan. Nothing comes by planning today. The result will not be coming tomorrow. So you should stay with it. And my advice would be to you become financial managers for yourself. That way you venture into it, you start working into it, and you invest on your own name, get your own commission, and that's what I have said. And I've made at least 10 to 15 doctors as financial consultants the last 3 years. So I think if anybody wants to venture it off, feel free to contact me.
Oh, thank you, Varun. Thanks to all panelists. Thanks to all viewers. Thank you. I really enjoyed having this session with all of you, and I become slightly more knowledgeable. Okay. Thank you. Radha, thank you very much.
Great session, and really wonderful panelists, Baskaran. I also enjoyed listening to all it. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We should meet again in another 6 months' time.
Yeah. Thank you.